Guys, please do me a favor, due diligence. Could you go and work on this also by yourself, making sure that you fully understand? Like we said, please go back at the beginning of our session where I clearly explained that I want to hear from you, and you are all welcome, right? You are all welcome to send me some sections that you are not understanding. There's really a concept that I'm not understanding. It is time. It is time for you to do that. It is time for you to do that. If you do not do that, well, especially when it's close to the exam, then we won't have time, right? So just understand what you are missing, what you're struggling with, and please do your best to reach out to me. All right. So it is required that we do an analysis for your T2, but I wanted also to start with learning unit 5, quite important. Is everything fine? All good? Perfect. Thank you, Cody. Jesse, all good? Denver? Right. So, like I said again, have no sadness when it comes to T2. If you did it by yourself and you did your best, look, you have my highest respect and congratulations. You just need to know, and it's actually a good reminder just to make sure that you take it serious and your exam is coming soon, right? So this is what we're going to be covering. The evaluation of inventory will be very important. You know the concept of first in and first out, as well as the weighted average, you know? We touched that on learning unit 1, but now we're going to go much deeper because you want to be able to look at your inventory and properly evaluate your inventory, especially after a while. Because remember, time is passing. Auntie did ask this question in class to say, what happened when time passes? How are we able to look at the cost? Is that cost, varying, or is it staying the same? Right. So this will be very, very, very important because you have also time value for money. We're not gonna delve deep into the time value for money, but there are these two methods. These are methods that you use to look at your inventory. Remember, we just touched the right, and they ask you the right question in your paper. We were talking about the purchases, right? Because we just talked about a company that made purchases, right? They're making purchases. You saw it with your own eyes that the way they were settling the debts, month to month, you could see that what they pay for their credit purchases in 1 month is not exactly the same as what they pay in another month. There are factors that are involved, right? So it's about you are buying inventory for your production. Remember, you must feed that production. Think of it like a massive chimney in your house that you need to feed wood to that chimney so that you are in the depth of winter, like Denver in the US, like it's snowing, it's very cold and all that, and you need wood. What's going to be happening is that you bring in wood, and as you bring in wood, you need to feed, you see, your fireplace with that wood, right? Obviously, that wood would be differing because the first wood that you're going to bring in, and then they're going to be other woods that you're going to bring in, they might not look the same. They might not be coming from the same place. But what is your raw material? It is the wood. And you need that wood to feed your production of heat for your house, right? So this is just a way, an allegory to make you sort of understand what is happening here. Is that you would have, it would be good practice. It is good practice to use what you brought first before moving to the others. Especially, for example, if you are dealing with perishable raw material. If you bring raw material and you are not using it directly into your production, but you are saying, okay, maybe you are putting it in the warehouse in a way where you can't differentiate which one came in first and which one came in second. Well, that's a problem, because if you have perishable material, that material will not be as good for your production, right? So the idea of first in, first out to your production, to feed your production, right? Because remember again, your inventory can become obsolete. And there is a term for that. And you were examined on that, right? Shrinkage. Everything comes together. Everything needs to make sense, right? So we want also to avoid things like shrinkage. So, well, that's now we give you two methods. You can use the weighted average or the first in and first out. Very important, because that cost will be important for you, for example, to calculate the cost of sales. That cost will be important for you to decide, this is really the true cost of my production. How much then should I charge for the product that I'm manufacturing? So if you do not know the true costs of things of your production, right? If you do not really know, you might struggle in your sales. You might fix a price that will wreak havoc on your profit. Is this making sense? So it's something very important for you as an entrepreneur. You need to know the real cost of inventory, right? And the true cost of inventory goes exactly that, beyond the simple purchase price. It's not just, well, I bought it at this price. No, you need to take, and you do that, right? You are on Take-A-Lot, you are buying things from Amazon and all that, right? What you find out is that there are multiple costs that are involved there that, are not really the initial price that you are seeing, right? Because there is other costs involved. That will also be the same for when it comes to inventory. The ordering cost, the company needs to take into account the ordering cost, because it's the cost of preparing, issuing, and paying purchase orders, right? Plus receiving, inspection, all those things, right? Stock out cost. So cost incurred when an item is out of stock, including lost sales. And that's the reason why, remember, we are feeding the engine, we are feeding the production. We can't find ourselves in a situation where we didn't plan well enough to have our inventory on time to the point where it's going to impact our production, right? There are quality costs. There are a lot of costs, right? But the good thing is that you're not going to deal with all of them. You're going to deal with the most important ones, right? And this will be a very, very useful concept. There is a clear formula, easy formula for you to understand, but that's not what is really the main point here. This is just a model, because we want to optimize the order size. We're looking at the cost, we're looking at the order size. In what quantity must we order so that we can minimize all the other costs? right? So it basically like saying this. It makes economic sense for you to do good business, that you buy the cheapest and you sell the highest. Making sense? I mean, that's just economics, right? You want to buy the cheapest and sell the highest, right? So it's the same principle for you, for me, for companies, is that we want to minimize costs. That just makes business sense. I don't have a company that has a purpose of maximizing its cost. It doesn't make sense, right? So the goal is to find the perfect balance between uh, the ordering cost and the carrying cost. These are the two main things that we want to bring your attention to. There is the ordering cost. Remember, freight, all transportation costs that are incurred. But there is also the carrying cost, which, for example, you're buying inventory, you need to keep it in warehouses. Well, keeping that inventory in warehouses is money. So we need to find a balance between the carrying cost and the inventory cost. Remember, we are feeding a production. Trying to my best to picture to you, you see a massive plant of, for example, for the production of electricity here in South Africa, they need coal. And what did we say? We just want to make sure that we plan well enough so as not to run out of raw material. We don't want to run out of coal. Why? Because the catastrophic failure of planning properly would be that the production of electricity would stop. So we need to make sure that the coal is always available, right? So, but we need to plan properly. Because remember, the coal is traveling via trucks in South Africa, destroying our roads, right? But also via railways. Okay? That cost money to bring that coal to a particular place. That's the ordering. So to bring the coal to the plant, to generate electricity, we need to move that coal so that it is at a place and we can use it, right? So that's your ordering cost. All those things are included, right? The carrying is that when we bring the coal, we need to place it somewhere. And you know, it's a big business in South Africa, right? That coal needs to be in warehouses. I don't know if we can call them warehouses, but wherever they're stocking it, right? And close enough so that when it's time, for example, to use it, we use it, right? So that's a very important concept you need to remember, right? And remember again, guys, it is apologies for that. It is in your my internet is a bit slow, but I just wanted to check with your announcement. So far, so good. Any questions? Right? So guys, again, remember, announcement, very important. You need all the time. This should be your already saved in your favorites because every time you need to study, right? And what I make easy for you is that as soon as you look at your announcement, you need to be reading your announcement, right? We have this part. Obviously, you can find it also in your content. If you go to your content, you go to Learning Unit 5, you'll be able to look at that uh, navigation pathway, if I can put it that way, right? I just want to finish with something here, because remember, I said my desire was to cover part 1 for Learning Unit 5, so that you can see how easy these principles are. And the notion of Yes, if we are stocking inventory, at what point do we reorder, right? What point do we gauge and and see that this is a critical point we need now to reorder. Otherwise, we are going to run out of raw material. Remember, we need to feed the production. We don't want to come to the point where we have the catastrophic failure, where we cannot produce or we cannot sell, right? So either we need inventory or we need raw materials for our production, right? So guys, if you go, you have learning unit 5. As you can see, for all learning units, you have the lecturer's resources, right? And you have everything. You have the short learning videos that are waiting for you. Please, I don't see anyone who covers this who is going to struggle. All right. So make sure that you go through part 1 lecture and part 2. Make sure you go through them, right? They are here. That will be your stop 2. Is that clear? And obviously, the mind map, you might ask, where is it? It's there. It's provided. You have your mind map. You have your interactive practice. Ensure that you practice. And you have extra material that I even provide to you. So if lecture one and lecture 2 did not do, I have another lecture 1 and lecture 2 for you, right? And that's the one that I wanted to touch on. This is, for example, the step method. And this step method here was covered. As you can see there, 2 people are there. I don't know if the volume, I don't know if you can hear anything, but I just want to show you that it's 2 people. It's 2 people, just like you and I. If, for example, there is something that you identify that you are struggling with, you can see one of your colleagues, we're working together on a particular problem or on a particular concept. All good? Any questions? Right. So I'm going to stop the recording now. Jesse, are you good? Denver, are you good? Cody, are you good?